T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hey, 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 good morning, good morning, good morning to those who are watching. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Of course, this is the SmackDown and Rampage Aftershow on a different day. Yeah, it's Saturday morning, but here's the thing. We had to move it because in some markets, Fox decided to show preseason NFL football in place of SmackDown, including in my market. So I wasn't able to watch it until like later. And then I had to watch Rampage even before that. But yeah, that's what's happening. That's why we're on a Saturday morning. But good morning anyway, wherever you're at, good morning. I hope you're starting off really well for this Saturday morning. Of course, my name is Stephanie Hardy, host and creator of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, co-host of Women's Wrestling Talk, and commentator for the Belladonna division in Gaston, Alabama, and also a commentator in other places as well, like Battle Club Pro, and of course, next weekend at Black Girl Magic. I am so happy to be a part of that. So yeah, that's what's going on. Hello in the comments. RJ, thank you for joining us from Facebook. So of course, if there's anything that you see or resonated with you, please comment on it during the live stream as I recap both shows, SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Please comment and chat away, and you might wind up on the screen. Now, of course, my lovely co-host, Driune Santana, our editor-in-chief, she might be joining us a little bit later on in the broadcast, but for now, it's just me. So basically, SmackDown, of course, we're going to start with that, started with the women's action, which is something that's been going on since Triple H has taken over creative in the post-Vince McMahon era. He has decided to start both shows, Raw and SmackDown, with women's action. So that's amazing. So you don't have to wait until like almost like the third or the second hour of a show to watch it. So it's great. So SmackDown started with a tag team match in the women's tag team title tournament between Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez versus Shotzi and Xia Li. Now, of course, a lot of people felt like these teams were a little bit thrown together and just random or whatever. But here's the thing. I'm just happy that a tournament is actually happening the way that they promised that it was supposed to happen months ago. Because, of course, the titles are, vacant due to the absence of Naomi and Sasha Banks. So I'm glad that this tournament is taking place. So it was just really great to see these women, in the ring battling for this. And it seemed like throughout the match, Shotzi and Xia were basically taken over. And basically like dominating the entire match. As you can see in this picture, Shotzi was breaking up a 2 count that Aaliyah had on her partner, acting like the wrecking ball that she knows she is. Hey Chad, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Yep, I love beginning with women's action on Women's Wrestling Talk. Exactly. Yes, boy. So so yeah, like I said, the baddies, Shotzi and Zaya, were taking over and dominating the match. But then coming from the commercial break, there was a hot tag that Raquel got from Aaliyah, which sparked a comeback, but then Shotzi shut her down with sliced bread number 2 for a fall. But then there was an amazing spear that Aaliyah hit on Shotzi as well. But then, of course, outside of the ring, you have Natty McNatters, and Sonya Deville watching from outside because, of course, they're in the tournament too, and they want to sort of, assert themselves as if to say, yeah, we're here and we're dominant and you're going to face us next or whatever. But even in the midst of that distraction and there being a brawl breaking out or whatever, between the girls, Aaliyah and Raquel came out with the win after Aaliyah hit a spear onto Shotzi, and then Raquel hit a Tejada bomb um on Xia Li in order to give them a hard fought victory. And I was, it was interesting to see these two work as a team because, like I said, some of these women have never really tag teamed before. So it was really great to see them, bounce back from this, especially with Aaliyah and all of her drama going on with Lacey Evans, who we haven't really seen much of in the past couple of weeks. And then you have Raquel, who's still finding her way on the SmackDown roster. It was just great to see them, fight through and move on in the tournament. So I guess now they're going to go on to face Sonya and Natty in the tournament. But then, of course, later on in the show, they had a little bit more. There was more women's tag team action in the sense that we got to hear from. We got to hear from Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark from NXT, who are going to be participating in the tournament next week as well. So that was really cool to see. And I'm really excited for the women's tag team tournament because I'm just glad it's happening at this point. Thank goodness. So yeah, I'm just glad that we're getting more women's action, and I'm glad that women's action is actually being prioritized a little bit more and actually made to be put on first. So yeah, we got more action in the comments. Bobby Petito, good morning. And Chad saying, yes, girl, glad to see Shotzi looking strong, but I did not see Zaya featured heavily. Raquel deserves to advance in this tournament. Yeah, Raquel does deserve to advance in the tournament. And Zaya Lee is somebody that you would think would have a little bit more shine, especially especially given the way that she debuted on SmackDown, as the protector, but then they kind of just dropped that and then turned her heel. And then after that, you just didn't see that much of her. It's like if SmackDown came, you would see her in dark matches. But outside of that, you really didn't see much of her. But now she's in this tournament and it was okay. And it was cool to see her in the tournament. But then with Shotzi, it's like they're both been losing quite a lot. And I hope that stuff can turn around for them even after this tournament. But we'll just have to see. But then we do get more women's action, in the show. So Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah move forward in the tag team tournament for those titles. So moving on, we got to see Drew McIntyre come out and sort of give his reaction to being attacked last week by a returning Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So, of course, Drew McIntyre is set to face off against Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle in Cardiff on September the 3rd. But he got attacked by Karrion Kross, who also laid out the gauntlet for Roman Reigns by saying, look, like, I'm next. Your title reign is about to be up. TikTok. And for those who used to watch NXT Black and Gold, y'all know what TikTok means. And so Scarlett, put the hourglass out there and everything, and it was very cryptic. And in fact, it was so scary and so cryptic that I guess Roman Reigns decided to not show up. And Drew McIntyre, mentioned that. He was just like, look, like, this is like the umpteenth time that Roman Reigns has not shown up for SmackDown, and this is just annoying to me. And he was talking about how basically, he wants to be the one to throw Karrion Kross in the graveyard and be the champion that SmackDown deserves, which I kind of get, from his perspective. But as he was getting it, together and everything, and also talking about how he was the one who beat Brock Lesnar with his bare hands at WrestleMania in 2020, he wound up getting interrupted by Miss Scarlett, who came out to just kind of be, more of this the creepy peon for for Karrion Kross. And what's so funny is on commentary, I was listening to it, and Michael Cole was calling Scarlett everything, like his muse, his inspiration, Karrion's, muse and inspiration or whatever. But it was so funny. I was just like, you really have yet to call her, his wife or whatever, but I guess they're not doing that. But it was just really funny. But she posed as a distraction for Drew to get attacked by the Usos. So this is her, you see her in the corner kind of just, moving out of the way for the Usos to attack him or whatever. But then, of course, as it went on and as they continued to attack Drew or whatever, the Usos looked at Scarlett and said, look, if you're trying to come for the tribal chief, if your boy is coming for the tribal chief, then he has to go through us, because this is bloodline territory. And then Scarlett said, it's funny because Karrion told me to tell you the same message. And then she left. And I'm just like, ooh, it's getting rough out here. It's getting real rough out here for the bloodline. So yeah, Bobby said he's happy that Scarlett and Karrion Kross are back in WWE. Me too. I really am excited. And then Chad said, I still like Drew over Roman for the universe. Scarlett and Kross are okay by Chad as well. Yeah, definitely. I was happy to see Karrion Kross and I was happy to see Scarlett back because their first main roster run was just not the greatest. It was not the greatest. And then Scarlett didn't even get a chance to be on the main roster. And then before anything happened with her, it's like they let them both go. So it's really good that RJ, me too, me three on Kross and Scarlett. Yeah, definitely. It's like you really didn't get to see much of Scarlett on the main roster at all. And then Karrion Kross was made to look like some type of gladiator person. And then they let them go. And it's pretty clear that with Triple H in charge and also with Stephanie McMahon in charge, they're getting it back in blood. Like I said last week, it's like they're coming back. They're finally, injecting new life into WWE. And Triple H is trying to do right by a lot of the people who were let go last year. Like it was just a whole lot of folks who really could have injected new life into the main roster that were let go. So it's really great to see them, come back and actually give more, to the SmackDown and Raw rosters as well. Like, oh my God, like it's great. So in the meantime, in between time, backstage, the Usos were backstage or whatever, but then they also got attacked by Drew McIntyre, who is sick and tired of them, inserting themselves into his business. So he challenged them to a tag team match, which we'll see later on. And we'll also get to see who his partner was. So that was great. Also, DeMarco, thank you for joining us. Good morning. It was so smart of them to inject Carrie into that storyline, much needed and refreshing. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree. So, moving on, we had the Viking Raiders come out and sort of, they were acting like they were coming out for a match. I think Eric was supposed to come out for a singles match against Kofi Kingston. But as they were making their entrance, Kofi decided that he was going to attack them with a kendo stick yet again. And it's like, I love it when Kofi comes out here and with this kendo stick, he's just like, look, I'm sick of y'all attacking my boys, attacking my friends. So I'm about to hit y'all with a kendo stick just like I used to do in 2009. Like 2009, Kofi Kingston was just on point and he was attacking everybody, jumping from everywhere, doing all of that. So this Kofi Kingston in 2022 just revitalizes my soul. So him coming out and attacking them with the kendo stick again was awesome. I loved it. But what made me sad was just like, as he was attacking them, he wound up laid out because he wound up getting blocked with a kendo shot, with a kendo stick shot to their shield, and then they beat him up with the shield and beat him up even more, and even jumped off of like the barricade that was blocking the audience, from them, and basically splashed Kofi. And I'm just like, dang, can Kofi Kingston catch a break? Like, it's clear that he can't face them by himself, but at the same time, it's just like he's attacking them with all of his strength and might, but then he still winds up, getting messed up due to the 2-on-2 advantage that the Viking Raiders have. And it's just so sad. Like, what is happening to our New Day? What is happening? I love the New Day so much, and I hate to see them, and also by extension, Kofi Kingston, who used to be, who used to be a champion, who is a Grand Slam champion in WWE, getting treated this way. Like, what is it? What do we have to do to get the New Day back on track? I know Big E is out, still injured, and they're still trying to protect him. And I know Xavier is injured because, of course, they messed up his ankle in Atlanta a few weeks ago. But Jesus Christ, like, what is happening to our New Day? We need to just lay hands of healing upon them and send them healing energy, because they're on the struggle bus. And it's so sad because I love them so much. But oh, it's just so sad. But in the comments, Chad says, "Are the Vikings still new and vicious?" Yep, they are. Please bring back Sarah Logan. Ooh, and introduce Baby Cash. That would be interesting. But seeing as Eric has this baby, with Baby Cash, I feel like that would automatically turn him face, because you can't be a heel and be a dad at the same time. Like, that's just not gonna work. So I don't know. He also says, "We all still love the New Day, but they will be the old day by the time Earth is done. Love for positivity." I don't know. I just need them. We just need them to just heal up and just be better at this point. Oh my God, it's just crazy. But moving on, there was another tag team match, and we had some jobbers in the ring. I don't want to disrespect them, but honestly, it's just, I don't want to disrespect them because, of course, these are wrestlers who are probably stars in the independent somewhere else. This was in North Carolina, so I'm more than sure that they are stars to somebody, and people were excited to see them. But a return that I was not expecting at all, because I don't read into the dirt sheets at all, because there's only so much that people say that could be truthful, but then so much that they say that could not be truthful at the same time. We got the re-debut of Hit Row. Hit Row. Oh my God. B-Fab, Ashanti the Adonis, and oh my God, AJ Francis. Oh, Hit Row, the OG3. They're back. Oh my God. And then they came back in blue outfits too, matching for SmackDown. Oh my God. I was so glad to see them. I was not expecting that to happen. DeMarco, I'm so sorry you weren't able to go. I'm so sorry. That does suck. I've been in that situation before. But I still hope you enjoyed the show anyway. Shout out to your hometown. Shout out to North Carolina. But yeah, the Hit Row, they are back. I'm just so excited. And they did call themselves the OG3 to sort of, reference the fact that Swerve, of course, is not with them because he's in AEW now as a tag champ, but we'll talk about that later. But it's these three, and I'm just so happy to see them. And B-Fab looked so good in her outfit with them boots, and girl, you just looked amazing. So Chad is saying, "I don't know the fellas much, but I have been a fan of B-Fab since she was in NXT. Definitely. Yeah, she was great. So this was a tag team match involving Ashanti the Adonis and AJ Francis. So this match, happened in quick order, but they were able to show a lot of their athletic abilities. Francis with his power and Ashanti with his high flying and kicking abilities. Like this match was really good, as a debut match for them. And of course, they came out with the win. So Hit Row wound up winning the match. They had a promo afterward declaring their intentions, and saying that they're back, and better than ever. No Eric Bischoff though. So this is them walking off, feeling all kinds of happy. And I'm just so happy to see them because when you think about how they were let go, it's just really sad because they were making waves even outside of the ring because you had AJ Francis, who was a little bit of a host, on the A&E shows for their A&E show called WWE Hidden Treasures. Like he was the host of that, and he seemed to have a pretty good personality, in the midst of that. And then you have, Ashanti the Adonis, who was on NXT getting his start. And B-Fab, she was on Raw Underground a couple of times, I think. But outside of that, they had, and then once they came together with Hit Row on NXT, they had such a good standing. So to watch them debut on SmackDown and then get let go almost immediately last year was so heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. So it's healing my soul to see them back on the television. So in the comments, RJ says, so my question since their return, does that mean Swerve Scott returns after his contract is done in AEW? I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say. I'm not an insider for that, so I really can't answer that question. But considering he is also a AEW tag champ, I don't know exactly how that will work. I don't know how long he's signed for with AEW, but I'm more than sure that he is happy, for them that they get this opportunity. But as far as him making a return, I'm not sure if that would happen. Chad is in the comments. He said, Stephanie, do you remember B-Fab in the NXT pandemic audience behind the plexiglass phase? Oh my God. I almost forgot about that. There was the plexiglass phase in the height of the pandemic. Oh my God. I don't remember that. I don't remember seeing her, but I do remember seeing a lot of the people that are on the main roster now on there. Like, oh my God, that's so crazy that you said that. I don't remember ever seeing her in the audience, but I am just so happy that they are back. So yeah, Hit Row has returned. Hit Row. I love their song. So backstage, we had a little bit of more action involved. Well, I did talk about Drew McIntyre attacking them. But yeah, so moving on, we had the contract signing with Liv Morgan, the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Shayna Baszler, who won that match to become the number one contender for that title, considering her fellow four horsewoman UFC buddy was suspended after putting her hands on a referee at SummerSlam after the controversial ending to that match. So before the contract signing took place, though, Miss Ronda Rousey decided to crash SmackDown and talk about basically how she is the baddest woman on the planet, but when you're the baddest, you can afford it. So she paid her fine back in cold hard cash at that. Like, I knew she wasn't gonna have a problem paying that back. Miss Ma'am is rich. She is UFC rich and WWE rich. Come on now. This woman has money. Like, she has money. It's just a matter of when she was gonna pay for it. So she came back, talked her ish, paid her money back or whatever. And basically, when security was trying to take her out of there, she proceeded to try to beat them up. There was one woman on security who she threatened to break her arm, but she begged her not to do it. So security basically escorted her away, but then she came face to face with Shayna as Shayna made her entrance. And I thought that was really interesting. And a lot of people are really pushing for them to fight at some point, like horsewoman versus horsewoman. So make it happen, WWE, make it happen. But of course, Shayna has to handle her business first with Liv. So she gets in the ring, and then Liv comes in the ring, and so they get ready to sign their contract. And Shayna, of course, makes her intentions known. And she vowed to beat Liv Morgan at Clash at the Castle. And oh, we got a pop. We got a pop. Who is it? Who is it? It's
I am here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's San.
I am
It's
here.
San.
Listen,
Good morning.
good morning, y'all. It's a Saturday, and we are here. Jesus Christ, I would never thought that I would be here on a Saturday morning with you
Me
guys.
neither.
Oh, Steph, you got the chat popping. Hold on.
Yeah, I do.
Y'all is up on a Saturday morning. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm so happy it is. But yeah, Santana, thank you for coming and joining us. Thank you. I'm so happy to see you.
Well, we got our meeting pretty early, so I was like, let me go ahead and hop in with Stephanie and see what she going on. And you talk about Liv and Shayna. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, girl. Oh
Mm,
yeah, Liv and Shayna got it cracking last night. So, yeah. So like I was saying, Liv was laughing at her and was basically saying, yeah, like I'm gonna beat you the same way I beat your friend or whatnot or whatever. But it's just so crazy because, ma'am, like you beat her in such a,
cheesy
you
way.
know, what'd you say?
Such a cheesy way, to be
Such
honest.
a cheesy way and in such a controversial way that
Mm,
it's just like, how can you brag on that? Like, how can you think you're gonna beat Shayna the same way? Like, that's not gonna work. It's like they both have the same the same type of arsenal. Like, you're not gonna beat Shayna the same way. So, of course, the same way the contract signings always go,
mhm,
they always break out into a fight. So they signed the contract. Shayna grabbed a hold of Shayna grabbed a hold of
sure.
Liv's injured arm and stepped on it as she was writhing in pain. But then somehow or another, Liv decided to twist about and then she ran up the ropes and then crashed Shayna through the table.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a pretty cool shot, but at the same time, it's just like, it was sort of out of a means of desperation on the part of Liv.
Hmm.
And she wound up, oh, wrong one. She wound up, standing tall and saying that she was going to see Shayna Baszler in Cardiff. So, yeah.
Well, only thing
San,
I can say is like she wasn't laughing after the fact. I tell you that much. She was over there
no.
crying because one thing that I think Liv Morgan needs to understand that Shayna is the better wrestler. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Shayna's been wrestling longer than Ronda Rousey has. Only thing Ronda Rousey gonna do is sling you around. Shayna's gonna break your freaking arm. Literally. If you honestly
Mhm.
think what Ronda Rousey did, and I know that Ronda Rousey, she gets her props and everything, and people have been, slowly have actually been on her side. Like Liv has been getting a lot of heat, a lot of backlash. People, they literally chanted, "You tapped out" during this whole segment anyway. And so I'm just like, Liv, however they choose to have this, and it's somewhere down the line leads to having Shayna versus Ronda, I would hope that Shayna gets the win because I personally feel like Shayna deserves this. This has been the first time since Shayna and Becky Lynch had their match at WrestleMania that Shayna has been in a title picture,
Mhm.
a world title picture.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to see Shayna in that title picture because it's more so of a way to kind of rebuild her dominance that she had in NXT. And I hate the fact that, yes, she was a tag team champion and all this stuff. It was cool. But Shayna was kind of like watered down a lot
She
and she
was.
wasn't able to truly be who she was in NXT. So I'm hoping that now, as these weeks continue to build up to Clash of the Castle, Lil Morgan, but I hope she can make it uh, to that pay per view. To be honest, that's all I can say.
Yeah, I feel like I know in my opinion,
Mm,
I know I was really high on Liv, being the champion. And I was really high on her winning Money in the Bank. Like I was excited about that. But
mhm,
the backlash that she's getting, I believe, isn't even just because, people are just deciding to turn on her. Usually when people are angry at you, it's because they have a reason to be angry at you. It's not illogical. Um And it's just the fact that the way that she won, it's like she covered Ronda, pinned her shoulders, but then also tapped out and then acted like, she really did something and had a decisive finish. That's not what happened. And when that happened, and then with her sort of bragging about it and talking about it as if, she deserves to still be champion, it's just kind of like, no, ma'am, you won by the skin of your teeth. And honestly, I feel like that's the reason why most people are turning on her, is because they it's like for one moment it seemed like you were trying to say, oh well, I'm gonna win because I have all this heart and I have all this fire and I have all this talent, which is true. But then the next minute you wound up winning the match in a sneaky way and you're not standing on it.
Well, so with Liv, everybody, if those who are new here, I'm Santana. Um, if you watch our shows, everybody knows that I bag on Liv Morgan. I am not the biggest Liv Morgan fan. I don't think she's that great. All this, I think she just doesn't do anything for me that makes me think that she's a believable champion or a believable in anything. Um, I feel like those who are fans or consider to still be fans of Liv Morgan, when she won Money in the Bank, people were very, very happy. When Liv won the title, people were very, very happy. Now that she actually did get the one-on-one with Ronda at SummerSlam, and the way that it was booked for her to, have her in this position where it's like, so Liv is going to try to do whatever she can to keep this title. Now, if there's a way that they can spin this story and Liv, and they want Liv to kind of like turn heelish a little bit, and be possessive over this title, like she's not going to let it go. I want it, it's mine. I got it this way, and it's going to be that. And if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. But I'm the champion now. But I don't know if Liv Morgan can really handle the heat that it comes from fans. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she is, because she's always been lovable. She's always been like happy, smiley, all this stuff. And now fans on social media, saying the same fans who cheered for her and happy and say that she's the only woman to beat Ronda Rousey twice, are the same fans who are still calling her out, saying that, oh, where you tapped out. Let's see if you have that energy with Shayna, and so on and so forth. But I don't know. Like, I honestly feel like I still won, because now everybody is seeing what I see in Liv Morgan, and I was just not that much, to be honest. I want her to be great. It'll be nice, but it's not looking good for her, honestly, and I don't think she's going to be holding that title too long either. By the way this is going, I don't think so. I absolutely don't think she's holding that long.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really awkward. But in the comments, Chad is saying, Stephanie and Santana, do you think Liv is broken in the Victoria sports entertainment sense of the term? I don't know exactly what that means. Sam, do you know what he means?
In the Victoria sports entertainment sense of terms. Unless you're talking about like over there in the ancient time, I guess. More so like, I guess with like Liv is broken, like maybe she's like going on a tangent or something. Like maybe she is like feeling as if like y'all have turned y'all back on me. And it's basically kind of just feeling like how Becky felt. Y'all used to like me. Y'all used to love me. Y'all used to cheer for me. And now y'all turn y'all back on me. Y'all found one little thing to constantly criticize me on and constantly throw up in my face. But y'all still cheer for me. Y'all still say y'all love me. Y'all still say y'all fans of me. But yet, y'all still call me out on my stuff. And y'all constantly keep bringing it up. Even when I said, okay, y'all call me out on my shit. Why do you keep bringing it up?
I don't know. Or maybe in my mind, I feel like is he talking about like Victoria that used to be in WWE, Lisa, or
I mean, he could be, because she acted a little possessed along with Stevie Richards that was right next to her.
oh yeah. Oh my god, the 2000s. I love it.
Uh,
Oh, okay. What a time to be alive. I love it. Also DeMarco in the comments on YouTube saying he 1,000% agrees he's never been a fan of Liv. Chad also said, I hope Liv turns heel on Santana. My God. My God. I don't know how that would work. I feel like Santana would out heel Liv for some weird reason.
I am the dominant heel here at Women's Wrestling Talk. There's nobody out healing me than me.
Yes.
Still think so
And
now, child.
it says, please book Santana versus Liv in Women's Wrestling Talk. Oh God.
If Liv think her arm is broke now,
Oh Jesus.
she gonna have to vacate that title when I get done.
Ooh, San. Ooh, San. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt her, San. Don't
I
hurt
really
her.
I
Don't
don't,
hurt her.
I don't want to beat up on that poor innocent young woman. Even though she's older than me, but I don't want to, hurt her any kind of way. I don't.
Yes. So moving on, we had another tag team match with the dudes. Oh wait, no, we got another comment from Facebook. RJ Shayna Baszler versus Ronda WrestleMania 39. Hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, they trying
Um,
to Becky and Ronda for WrestleMania, so. But I hope it's not with a title. I will say that if they're gonna build Becky and Ronda, it does not need to be a title involved.
yeah, Chad is also saying yes, he meant Victoria. Lisa Marie Varon is what I meant. Imagine Trish versus Victoria in a hardcore match.
Child, I've
Oh god.
seen enough.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, we're moving on. So thank you for clearing that up. But moving on, we had another tag team match with the men with Drew McIntyre and his partner Madcap Moss versus the Usos. So of course this happened due to the fact that Drew McIntyre is sick and tired of the Usos, inserting themselves into him and Roman's business. So he found a partner in Madcap Moss, and they basically fought. And and this match was pretty good for the most part. I'm glad that he was able to find Madcap Moss to even up the odds a bit, because it was almost looking like Drew didn't have nobody on his side, as he's getting attacked from the bloodline and also by Carrion. So it's just kind of like everybody wants to just Drew versus everybody.
Literally.
So I'm glad he found Moss as a partner for this match. But as you can see in these pictures here, of course, the Usos are getting their tag team supremacy on. But then, of course, through a hot tag, McIntyre was able to come in and, of course, give everybody all kinds of claymores. And then somehow Sami Zayn got thrust in there because, as you can see, he's at the bottom of the screen. But he handed out a claymore to him. He was acting like Oprah. You get a claymore. You get a claymore. You get a claymore. And, of course, Drew and Moss wound up winning the match, and so of course this is them celebrating. So yeah, it's interesting to see how the bloodline has a tendency to play out and act up whenever Roman's not there. But Drew did address that, but he addressed that in his promo earlier. But yeah, Sam, what did you think of this match, and how do you feel about well, we know how you feel about the bloodline, but how do you feel about Karrion Kross sort of inserting, himself, and Scarlett inserting herself in all of this stuff leading up to Clash?
I feel like Drew beat the hell out the Usos earlier backstage. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. I talked about it earlier. It was crazy.
He caught their ass slipping. Do you hear me?
He is tired.
Yeah, and I mean, it was nice for him to have someone like Madcap Moss, which was kind of weird because I wouldn't have never expected Madcap to be the one to be his partner. He kind of reminds me of a young Drew anyway, a little bit, like ponytail, like of course generic tights, all this stuff. He can be like a little Drew minion or something. I don't know. But this was a really interesting match with these guys. I mean, Sammy still getting bullied, of course, so he tried to, come out and try to help out, but obviously it didn't work that way. So now he's going to get fussed at again by Jey Uso, who doesn't give a damn about Sami Zayn. He's going to... I feel like Sammy is just getting beat up against the wall every week, and Jimmy is just sitting there watching this man get beat up because he's just like, I like you. I believe Jimmy does like Sami Zayn, but Jey Uso doesn't give a damn.
Like, no, he doesn't.
He does not care. Literally every time Jimmy is trying to talk to Sammy, Jay Uso is screaming to the top of his lungs, like, you know, he's just like, let. What is the issue? What if you don't stop pulling your weight around here, Oos? You want to get these problems. It's like, sir, it's 7 a.m. Why are you yelling? Like, this is a man wakes up mad at the world. He's probably mad at the fact that maybe I feel like Jay is treating Sammy how Roman treated him. And so
Mm.
belittling him, yelling at him, all saying he's at the bottom of the barrel because he's not doing this and all that stuff. So
Gaslighting.
I feel like exactly the same way Roman gaslighted Jey Uso, he's doing the same thing to Sami Zayn. And the reason why Jimmy is kind of just standing there because Jimmy wasn't really necessarily gaslighted by Roman Reigns when he came back. You know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, but I feel like with Karrion and Scarlett, you know, they definitely since they came back last week, they definitely been making their presence known. Am I the biggest fan of Karrion Kross? Absolutely not. But his interest does not look better without his wife. I will say that. So I just feel like eventually, somewhere down the line, this is going to end up in a triple threat match, maybe possible, or somehow, some way that this match does happen, and Karrion finds a way to interfere that causes Drew this match, and maybe Roman owes Karrion the help in this getting that victory over Drew McIntyre for those titles at Clash of the Castle. So something's going to transpire. I have absolutely no idea, but I don't know, but. Miss Scarlett is making her rounds. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Scarlett is such a baddie.
She
She's such a baddie.
she's even
I'm
pretty
so.
in person too, though.
Oh my
Like,
God, really? Oh,
she is. I've seen her like twice in person, and she's like same way she looks on TV, same way she looks in person. Like she's gorgeous. She is.
oh, that's so great. Well, maybe one day I'll get to meet her in person. But we in the comments, Chad is saying, "Is it the start of a Sammy babyface turn?"
Listen,
I
Sammy
would
gonna
love
get
it.
tired of getting punked out by Jey Uso, and he gonna knock that man out first.
I would love it because I feel like he's been here for a long time.
Well, honestly, I feel like Sammy right now is kind of just like there. Like I feel like he's not even a heel anymore. It's just like he's just getting beat up by Jey Uso, verbally wise at that. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to find a way to be accepted, you know, as an honorary Uso. But if you ain't got no gold around your waist, it's not working.
Right. It's not
Jay is
working
not
at all.
impressed. Jay is not impressed. Jimmy's just like, all right, why something wrong with this man? Like,
Yeah, the thing about Jay is something that I do admire that Jay does as a character. It's like
mhm.
he's the attack dog.
He is.
He is. He's like the attack dog of the bloodline. Because it's just like every time there's any type of enemy, you see him walking and pacing back and forth, staring at you like this, menacingly, like a dog that is made to attack you. And I feel like
That's how
that
he's
mentality
trained.
has not left him.
That's literally how that man is traumatized. He hurt. He has PTSD. He is going through some things, honestly. And I
Right.
think it's the fact that, you know, because of all the thing of what Roman did to him, all the things that he had to deal with, you know, although he did become a main eventer, you know, but still look at what Roman did to that man in Hell in a Cell. Look
Right.
at
He
how every
did.
week he belittled him. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
And
You
then belittle Jimmy too.
know, child, Jimmy was nobody's bitch at one point, and then he slid his ass. He only slid his ass over there because of his brother. He didn't do it for Roman.
Right. Like Chad said, Jimmy was nobody's bitch, right?
He
And
was.
then Jay is a proper main eventer. Yeah, I felt like that Hell in a Cell match, I really I will die on this hill. I really feel like Roman and the Usos should have been nominated for a primetime Emmy for for
Child.
how hard their storytelling and their acting was. Cause that was making me feel all the emotions. Cause Roman was attacking them and then Jimmy came in and tried to fight for Jay. It was like, stop, stop.
The
This
man
is
on a
it's
white
Jay
child.
and Josh. It's Josh and Jonathan. Don't do this. It's John and Josh. Don't do this. And then Roman was crying. And I was crying. I was like, y'all ain't finna
You
do
know,
this.
I'm like, what is going on here?
It was so dramatic, but it was
It
still
was.
so good though.
I
It
was
was
like, wow,
peak pandemic television.
literally,
They should have won an
literally.
Emmy for it. They should
They
have been
they should have
nominated.
been giving out the Slammies at that point. Uh,
Right.
to be honest, because child, I didn't
They
know
should
what
have
the hell.
won.
This was a damn soap opera,
It
uh,
was.
and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, okay, Jimmy, it's nice to see you back, but we throwing in the towel. All
Oh
right,
Jesus. Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Jesus Christ,
Emmys do better. Primetime Emmys do better. Nominate WWE for things, okay? Because
please,
they be acting too.
they really do.
Do it. Emmys do better. Moving on to the main event. Don't get me started. Moving on to the main event. It was the Intercontinental Championship match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Gunther, of course, with Ludwig Kaiser. Out in Gunther's corner.
Mhm.
And this was a really good part of the show that is beginning to impress me more during the post Vince McMahon era is the fact that Triple H is making these montages talking about the prestige of these main card titles.
Mhm.
And I appreciate it because, I was raised with an old school wrestling fan and my father.
Mhm.
And whenever we would watch old wrestling clips, Daddy would tell me that if you won the Intercontinental title, that would mean like you were next in line, for the world title.
Mhm.
That's how it used to be back in the day. And I was just like, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was just like, it's not that way now at all.
No.
Not at all. So I actually appreciate that they're doing that for the US title and for the IC title because I mean these titles aren't just titles you just win just cuz you
Right.
know you can't win the big one. These are titles that have prestige behind them.
Mhm.
And I believe that they deserve to be treated as such and I appreciated that
Yeah.
before this match. I appreciated it a lot. I love it. So, this match took place and you got to see the best of these two.
Mhm.
Like the best of these two operating on all cylinders. Like we hadn't like not the watered down version of them, but just like the stupid talented version of both of these men.
Mhm.
Like it was good to me. I love this match. You had Nakamura with his strong style. You had, of course, Gunther with his, I guess you could say, British strong style in a sense. Shout out to NXT UK. But yeah, you had all of that going on in this match. You had suplexes happening, as you can see. Um, all kinds of Kinshasas going on. Like this match was just fantastic. I loved it. I loved it so much. But in the end, Gunther wound up retaining his IC title. But weirdly enough, even though Ludwig Kaiser was out there, of course, to be in Gunther's corner, the
Mhm.
way he kept looking at that title before he gave it to him made me feel weird.
Yeah, it made it seem as if like
Kind of
somewhere down
awkward.
the line, um, he could be. They won't be together that long, and I would hate for them to have them break up because honestly, if you know the history behind Imperium with Walter before he became Gunther, with Ludwig before Marcel before he became Ludwig, and what's his
Yeah.
name Vinci down there in NXT still and stuff like that. When they was like the whole Imperium thing, I felt like the whole thing was like I really wish that all three of them could have came up together. I
Mhm.
really do. Because their faction is like could have went up with the bloodline, to be honest.
It
Um,
could have.
they really could have. And I feel like somewhere down the line, we may see Gunther versus Roman somehow, some way. That's only if Roman is still holding both of these titles somehow, some way. Where, somehow, some way, Gunther either drops his title or vacates it or something like that. And then he wants to, go after the big title. And I personally would not mind it. But I mean, Jesus Christ, this match with him and Shinsuke, I mean, a lot of times I think people forget that Shinsuke is like an amazing wrestler.
Yes.
He's just a little lazy down, you know what I'm saying? He's just here for a check. That's it. But to have someone like Gunther who's like a really tough opponent, um, it would be like it was amazing. It was nice to see. And for this to be the main event, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I don't think this is the end of this. This could honestly go into like a feud or something, even though he's already beaten Shinsuke. I think that this could go into something else. Or maybe try to figure out like who the hell else is gonna face Gunther and try to get this win. Chad says Raquel versus Gunther. Listen, I feel like Walter would chop the hell out of her back. Literally. And she got a strong back now. So Raquel versus Shinsuke for the IC title, please. Well, I mean if they choose to let Raquel join the intercontinental participant place or whatever, then hey, by all means go for it. But she gotta she gotta focus on trying to win this tournament that night, winning this tournament. So she
Hmm.
got some opponents that she need to focus on as of right now. So
Yeah. They did kind of insinuate at the end, with the way that Shinsuke was looking at him,
mhm.
that it might not be over. So I do see the possibility of this being a feud between him and Gunther.
Mhm.
Um, But yeah, like that was basically the main event of SmackDown. That's how SmackDown ended. But before we leave the SmackDown side of things, I do want to ask you, Santana,
Mhm.
what is your stance on the women's tag team title tournament, and how do you feel about the teams that they have gathered for it? And considering they showed a vignette for them last night, how do you feel about Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark and how they could participate in the tournament and how far they could go?
Boo. First of all, having Nikita and Zoe, I would have thought, and honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Toxic Attraction either, but they're a legitimate tag team. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they could have been in this tournament because they're actual tag team. Whether they, win or lose, whatever, how far they get, I felt like it would have been nice to have them there. Um, I feel as if like with this tournament, we thought maybe they totally forgot it, but they didn't. And I feel as if like somewhere down the line, I don't really think Zoe and Nikita is gonna make it to have the chance to be a part of this tournament. I feel like somehow, some way, they're gonna be taken out of this tournament, and we could get a return, or we get someone else to be a part of this tournament. But I personally feel like them being on this tournament, it just feels weird. Like it just looks weird with them being there. Like I why them though? Like that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Like why choose them? So I kind of feel like they're not gonna make it. I feel like there's gonna be something that's gonna transpire where neither of them is gonna be able to make it to have their match next week. So, but I mean, it was nice that they gave a vignette. Kind of talk about a little bit of the history of the women's tag team champions. Um, I don't know, like I feel like this tournament has been going pretty swell thus far. From what I saw on Monday to last night, um, I really have no idea how this is going to play out. I don't like. I really have no idea. Anything can happen. I mean, Control could win this whole thing, and become tag team champions, or somebody else could, like I said, make returns or something, and literally either get their titles back or something. That's kind of how I feel, but I don't know. I'm just here for along for the ride, and just kind of nice to see that we do sort of have a tag team division that's there a little bit. Um, so who knows?
Yeah, I kind of I agree with you in the sense that Toxic could have been brought up for that tournament because they were an actual team.
Hmm.
I do agree with that sentiment, but then also at the same time, I can kind of see a little bit as to why they chose Nikita because of the value of her popularity, I guess you could say. And then with Zoe, it's just like it's a little bit weird because she is challenging Mandy
Hmm.
for the NXT Women's title next week.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, I guess they just decided to just give it to them just to give them an opportunity. I feel like it might I don't want it to be this way because I would love to see my NXT girls go far. But at the same time, it could be the situation where kind of like that random time they had Charlotte come up from
Hmm.
NXT and fight Natalya on
Yeah.
Raw, and she wound up losing. But then, of course, they brought her back and debuted her properly, and then she
Hmm.
wound up becoming, who she is now. Like
Yeah.
it could be that type of situation. They're just trying to, do the developmental part, just to see, if they have, what it takes this time to
Hmm.
see, and then put them back on NXT just for them to grow a little bit more and then debut them properly. I don't know. But either way, I'm just happy that the tournament is happening. And
Yeah.
I was just glad to see, that they actually worked to utilize the women that they do have,
Hmm.
because sometimes I feel like they have a tendency to use like the popular, or at least in the past, they
Hmm.
would have a tendency to use like the popular girls, then put them together randomly and then just send them out there. It
Yeah.
looks like now, they're putting together these women who you rarely see on television to
Hmm.
begin with, and then put them out there for them to show what they have to offer.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about it. I'm good on it. We got some stuff going on in the comments. Io and Dakota versus Nikita and Zoe is my official prediction on Women's Wrestling Talk. Okay, sweetheart. I appreciate that. Um, if it ends with anything other than Control winning the titles, I will be shocked. DeMarco, okay.
That's true.
That is true. I can
Everybody's eyes
see
on that.
Yeah, I could see a return happening, but at the same time, I could see it not happening because I'm just tired. I miss them, but I'm tired at the same time. I'm not angry at them, but I just miss them and I'm tired. So, um, and then Chad is saying Natalia is the best of all time and a personal long time favorite legend of mine. Yeah, she's great. She's the
She
boat.
is. She is.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
talked about Hit Row, then y'all.
Yeah, we did. We did.
I want them
Oh
to go back.
God. Huh?
I want them to go back home.
Why?
I was never a fan of Hit Row, child. Like, not at all.
Oh,
Like,
sin.
I'm probably the one that could give rats, you know what, about Hit Row. They like I know, we're supposed to support our people, but I I am just like I listen, here's the thing. I've met them in person. You know what I'm saying? I've
Okay.
had a chance to talk to AJ, to Hootie, and Tootie. Didn't really get to talk to Brianna like that. Um, whatever. But AJ Tahuti, cool outside of the ring. Do I want to see them in the ring? Absolutely not. Maybe this would be a chance for them to kind of start over or pick up where they left off at, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan, and I could care less about them, to be honest. I just
Yeah.
there.
Okay. I can appreciate that mindset. It's just, well, I guess because they haven't been on television because they got let go and stuff. I just didn't know how you felt about them at all. So,
Yeah,
it's
even when I was watching them on NXT, it
Mhm.
wasn't hitting for me. Uh,
Okay, yeah.
it wasn't, and a lot of people jumping on Swerve saying that, oh, Swerve is crying. This man is holding a damn tag team title in AEW.
Which we will get to.
What did you mean? He's sad and upset.
He's probably happy for them.
You know,
He's probably happy for them.
they wasn't going to accept AJ nowhere else because AEW didn't want him. So go back where you're welcome, and you're back in WWE. So shout out to some people who were wanting to put out petitions for, you know, yeah, that exactly explains everything. But I'm not going to say that right now. Maybe in another time. But that's exactly how I feel about it.
Well, Chad did say Stephanie and Santana greater than Hit Row. Well,
Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
We are greater than Hero. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, they were, yeah, the OG three.
Okay, we the ones.
Yeah, we are the ones. Though I just don't think I could pull off B-Fab's boots, though. Jesus
I don't want
Christ.
to pull out them boots either. They're ugly.
They're not ugly to me. I think they're cute, but I just don't think I could wear them.
I don't want her hair. I wish she go back to that black hair that she had at first, cause them tie gray braids is getting on my nerves.
I have a girl crush on her, so this is awkward. I have a hard girl, a really big girl crush on her. Like she's so gorgeous to me. Like girl, wow.
She's pretty in person. I will say that. Like she is. Um, she's just not my cup of tea. And neither is Hootie or AJ Francis.
I also thought it was funny how
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny how people were saying that Carmelo Hayes should join them, and he was just like,
Absolutely not.
He was like,
Absolutely
"Don't do
not.
that."
I will
Even
fight.
he said,
I will fight the
no.
air. I will. When I tell you, I will come swinging down to WWE and be like, I know y'all got to be joking me. If you ever think about putting Carmelo with them, that will literally diminish him. Okay, I know at one point, he said that if he could be a hero, he would be the leader, and then he tweeted something. He quote tweeted himself and put LOL. So like, which was an old tweet that he had like way back and everything. So like, listen, leave Carmelo with Trick, please, and thank you. Don't think about putting him with Hit Row. Hunter,
Please don't.
I will find you, okay? And I'm gonna kick you in your leg. Don't do that to me, okay? I will go on a tangent. I will go on a rant. I will at you every day so that you know that do not even think about putting Carmelo Hayes with them people over there. Absolutely not. Leave him where he is.
He's too big by himself and with Trick Williams. He's too big for that. Like he is way too big for that. He is a star in his own right. Let him let Carmelo and Trick rock. Okay, let them rock by themselves.
Fine. Now, if you want to bring Carmelo and Trick up together, cool. I'm all right with that.
Me too.
Do not put them with Hero, because I'm gonna hit somebody in a row. Okay, and it might be Hunter. Don't play with me.
Oh, the bar. The bars. Santana with the bars. Yes, I love it. But we need to move out of the SmackDown side of things.
Girl, you got me.
So, the SmackDown NXT crossover is something I am enjoying. As you know, as the host of both the SmackDown and NXT after shows, I'm enjoying it very much. But yeah, SmackDown was lit. SmackDown was lit. And I also do not forgive the NFL for putting football on.
I have absolutely no. Listen,
I don't forgive them.
We have a stream that we watch, so literally. I'm not gonna say what kind of stream, because the cops might be watching. So
moving on. We're gonna move on to the AEW side of things. AEW Dynamite, which did come on time where it was supposed to come on.
Was it not supposed to come on?
Because it did, okay? I was able to watch it and watch it on the time it was supposed to come on.
Oh my god.
All right, Whitney LMAO. Yes, we're goofy over here. We're goofy. So AEW Rampage started with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, coming out to address the AEW fans. Of course, this was continuing our quake at the lake, the Purple Lake. I don't care. It's Lake Minnetonka. R.I.P. to Prince.
Look, and Dan Hansen back.
Look, we'll get into it. We're gonna get into it. Okay, we're gonna get into it. But we're started with Bryan Danielson on Rampage addressing the people. So he talked about how he was attacked by Daniel Garcia, who has it out for him and wants to end his career or whatnot. And of course Tony Khan, well, not Tony, I'm sorry, not Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone, forgive me, the goat, asked him about, how he feels about, coming back, even though sometimes he'll come back and sometimes not be in the best of shape or whatever. And Brian was like, look, like, I am a professional wrestler. I've been doing this for over 20 years. um I've never truly been at 100%, but I would rather live at 100% than, be at 100% in terms of, his health or something like that. And he would never willfully, just stop wrestling, if he could help it, because this is what he loves. This is what he eats, sleeps, and breathes. Outside of his family, of course. So he was talking about that, but then he was interrupted by Daniel Garcia, who, of course, hmm?
I was saying woo because I love Daniel Garcia.
Yeah. He came out and challenged him. Of course, he's challenged him for a 2 out of 3 falls match next Wednesday. So he came out and said, look, you were my hero when you started wrestling. I used to look up to you, but every time you retire and come back and retire and come back, you hurt me. So because of all the times you've hurt me, I'm going to hurt you next week and I'm going to end your career. You need to prepare to lose because, I'm just going to end your career. And he said, I will not just be the Dragon Slayer, but I'm going to be known as the greatest technical wrestler of all time. But somehow or another, since Daniel Garcia is associated with the Jericho Appreciation Society, and Jericho has sort of been talking about sports entertainment, Bryan Danielson got triggered and angry and was talking about, no, Chris Jericho has been feeding you this notion of being a sports entertainer for too long, and I hate it. And it sort of reminded me of how he used to be, in WWE. Whenever anybody talked about sports entertainment, he'd be like, look, I'm a wrestler, shut up. So he was just like, no, like, if you're going up against me, I need to see you and how you used to wrestle, like when you were 21 years old, and how you went wrestle for like over 60 minutes in the ring the first time I saw you. Like, he was just like, look, you need to bring your A game the way you had your A game when you was younger if you finna get in the ring with me. Like, straight up. So it was really interesting. Like, I liked it. It was very passionate, Bryan Danielson. And after he said all that, he left the ring, and I loved it. It was a very passionate promo. DeMarco saying he big broed Garcia something serious. He kind of did. He did. And as a older sibling, sometimes you got to do that. You got to do that sometimes. You got to let your younger siblings know what's going on. Shout out to my sister. She turns 21 today. But yeah.
Well,
Santana, how did you feel about that?
I am the youngest sibling, so so I ain't got nobody after me. It's just me by myself. So I love Daniel Garcia, but Mr. Bryan Danielson, you might need to calm down a little bit because Mr. Garcia has a win over you, sweetheart. Okay. So don't sleep on Mr. Garcia, okay? Because the man is only 23. You want him to wrestle like he did 2 years ago? That's cool. But don't count that man out. Don't sleep with that man. I think this is a moment in time where, a lot of people are so used to seeing Daniel Garcia kind of be in the shadows of Chris Jericho and, everybody over in the Jericho Appreciation Society. But we're finally just seeing Daniel like kind of float around on his own. And, it's nice to start with someone like a Bryan Danielson because Bryan Danielson is an amazing wrestler. A phenomenal technical wrestler. Yes. And Daniel Garcia is an amazing technical wrestler too. I've watched a lot of his matches before he got to AEW and stuff like that. I watched his matches on the indies. He's holding the Prestige champion. He beat him unconsciously. You got knocked out, big bro. Okay? You got knocked out, big bro. So by your little bro. So now, who really got big bro? You can come out and you can say all this, all these words and everything like that, but you're conscious now, okay? You're now able to speak because Daniel let off you. He could have put you down forever. Don't sleep on Mr. Garcia. Okay.
Right.
He's not the one. And I'm riding with Mr. Garcia all day, every day. I like Bryan Danielson, but I'm riding with Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, Chad is saying you're scathing. Well, that's her. And yeah, like I this made me want to watch this match next week.
Mhm.
It really did. It really did because since I'm still sort of new to some of these people, I am interested in seeing more of Daniel Garcia, fighting against someone like Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
So I am interested in their match next Wednesday. So it's gonna be them in a 2 out of 3 falls match next Wednesday on Dynamite. So it's gonna be lit.
I'm
But
excited
moving,
to get unconscious too. Again.
oh Jesus. Um but moving on. They showed the clip of CM Punk coming back.
Mhm.
He's of course the original AEW world champion. He came back and was walking on his foot. So it seems like he's feeling good, feeling better about himself and after
Yeah.
his surgery and stuff. So he ran back up into the ring, of course, tried to help out John Moxley as that fight was breaking down with Jericho. John Moxley didn't appreciate it, gave him the bird, and just walked out. So they recapped that, and everybody was crunk about it because he's CM Punk, and yeah. So, and I was crunk about it too because CM Punk looked fine that night. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, CM Punk is my type. I don't. um, he was my type a long time ago, and he's my type now, and that says a lot. He's just fine to me. I don't know why,
He,
but
he got the daddy look now. You know what I'm saying?
dude, that's what it is.
He's gotten older. He got the look, the beard and everything and stuff like that. And um, child, Mr.
Lord
CM Punk,
Jesus.
Mr. CM Punk.
I wish we could talk about that horror movie he was in.
Get, oh
We'll
God.
talk about it off camera. Um, but there was another reason why I liked it though. But we'll talk about that later. But moving on, we had a mixed tag team match for the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Champions. I wanted to get that correct, so I wrote it down. Between Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello, which freaked me out because I was like, since when has she been called Ty Mello? Because I've been calling her Ty Conti all this time.
Well, she just changed it. Conti was her first husband's last name, and she kind of just been kind of carrying it and everything. So Mello is her middle name.
Oh,
So she
okay.
just changed it to Ty Mello, or Tay Mello, so that it's literally still it's just her, and she's gonna go from there. So I thought maybe she
Okay.
would pick up Guevara's last name, but I guess maybe if somewhere down the line, I'm not wishing divorce on them. But let's just say she can't walk around here with Tay Guevara because I mean use your last name when you come here, okay?
Right. And congratulations to them because they, of course, did just get married in a beautiful ceremony. Ty made a beautiful bride, absolutely stunning bride, and she looked happy. Sammy looked happy. They both looked incredibly happy. It was a very beautiful and expensive looking wedding that I hope to have someday. So, congratulations to them and their happiness. You couldn't have paid me to come back from my honeymoon, though. You really couldn't have. I would have been gone. I would have been gone. Okay. I'm not wrestling no shows. Me and my husband are doing me and husband things, but whatever. Um, they wrestled in this match for their mixed tag titles against Dante Martin and Sky Blue. And this match was pretty okay, but I feel like it turned up towards the end. Um, it was pretty good, towards like the beginning, but I really feel like it turned up a whole lot more towards the end of the match. It was something weird about it, about the dynamic between Dante Martin and Sky Blue that weirded me out. It was just like when Sky Blue was on like in the corner or whatever, when Ty was trying to keep Dante Martin from jumping on Sammy, it was like Sky wasn't helping him. And I was like, why? It's like you're up. You could have ran over there and stopped her. Like, what's going on? Not no shade to Sky Blue or whatever, but I was just weird. I was just weirded out by that. But in the midst of it all, it was still a pretty good match. I liked how Sky Blue kind of came in and tagged in with a crossbody towards the beginning of the match. Something that also low key impressed me was Ty Conti's inverted neck crank that she did put on Sky Blue, even though it didn't necessarily win the match. It was still good, but something that irritated me a little bit though was, even though I know Sammy and Ty are very happily married and stuff, they were just kissing each other's faces so many times. And I was just like, guys, there's a match. There's a match.
Like, please, Jesus Christ.
Fight. Fight. Stop kissing. I know they were doing that to probably get on our nerves, but I was just like, guys, stop kissing each other. There's a match going on. Stop it. But what were you about to say?
I said they're scaring the children.
Oh God, that's funny. So this match was, like I said, it was really good, and then towards the end it started to turn up, but it turned out to be the Ty KO on Sky that wound up winning the match, and they wound up retaining their AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championships. So they're still the champions. Dante Martin and Sky Blue didn't get the job done. So yeah, it was still a pretty good match. There was even some mixed action going on because they, of course, they were hitting each other with various moves and stuff like that. So it was good. Chad saying, "I'll give you a wedding." Sorry, I'm taken. But yeah, San, how did you feel about this match?
I mean, it was like couple versus couple, to be honest, if you think about it. I mean, like,
really?
Yeah. So for those who don't know,
I don't know.
Miss Sky Blue and Mr. Dante Martin, they are a couple.
Oh, they're a thing. Okay.
They're a thing.
I love it.
We get a little gossipy over here a little bit. But they are. So it was like couple versus couple, to be honest. And it was the first time I actually saw Sammy and Ty actually defend those titles since they won in their Triple Mania and everything. So I didn't think that. I mean, now that they're kind of like in a position, I guess, to utilize those titles, and maybe they're going to have them be a tag or something as of right now, maybe defend our titles or start to implement more mixed tag matches too with the women and the men. So I mean, I think that's cool. I really thought this match was like okay. Not something that I would have been like, oh my God, match of the night, but it was cool. It was nice to see, intergender going on within this match. So I thought it was really cool to see. I'm interested in seeing like what else they may have in store for them. But as of right now, I have absolutely no idea. But nonetheless, it was really good.
Yeah, it was. I really liked it, for, something more refreshing to see in terms of mixed tag action. It was cool. Chad also said that Sky Blue is green. Is she?
She's not like the best wrestler at that. She's definitely a fan favorite for most. I think that she still has a long way to go in the ring. I just think that people like her aesthetic wise, more so than her in-ring ability.
Well, she is pretty good. I know the first time I saw her was during Empower Weekend last year. And I did feel like she was, really good. But of course, everybody has room to grow. So yeah, she'll get better. So yeah.
I hope so. I think that she could.
Yeah, everything will be okay. I feel like she has a good future.
Oh, of course, she does.
Her and Dante are cute, though. I didn't know they were a thing.
They've been a thing for...
That's so cool.
Wow, actually.
Okay. Go things. Go relationships. Love and wrestling. Let's go.
Boo.
All right. So, moving on. We had a little bit... Oh, wait, no. It's okay. Mandy Rose is still green and growing. Oh, God.
Yeah, Mandasha Rose.
Mandasha Rose. Sad. Oh my God.
If you don't know how that woman earned her name, woo, you haven't been earned it.
I know. I do know that, but Mandasha Rose, I just never heard it like that before.
Yeah, that's the name I gave her when she started to change her complexion.
I'm gonna use that Mendacia
Every
Rose.
time she come on the screen, she lost her name privileges. Her name is Mendacia Rose. That is her name forever. I don't care. I don't care what the hell is going on. Mandacia. Whenever Mandy Rose pop on the screen, that is Mendacia Rose.
Yes, definitely. Well, moving on, into more feminine energy, we had a match between the Trustbusters Parker Boudreaux, who was making his debut on AEW television, versus the Concrete Rose Sonny Kiss, who's everybody has basically been going up for online asking, when are we gonna see Sonny Kiss? Why can't we see more Sonny Kiss? Where is she at? Where is she at? Here she is, okay? And I'm so glad because I like her. She's amazing. So this match took place, and it felt one-sided at first, but then, because of course Parker is very powerful and he's really big, and he knocked Sunny down, but she was not going down without a fight. She actually, punched him, into the ring corner and did one of her patented, gymnastic flips, which I loved. Reminded me of Bring It On. And then elbowed him in the face, and then but it just didn't work out because even as she kept fighting, Parker Boudreaux lifted her up and slammed her at least twice and then pinned her for the 1, 2, 3. So Parker Boudreaux won his debut over Sonny Kiss, and it irritated me because I'm just like, Sonny Kiss deserves a win on television. She just does because she's one of the pillars of AEW at this point. And honestly, it just makes no sense for us to see less of her and more of everybody else who are just debuting or just coming from WWE or just got signed or something like that. Like, I just feel like it's not fair for someone who's as talented as Sonny Kiss to be sort of just in the background and forced to just wrestle on Dark and Dark Elevation or whatever, which isn't a bad thing. But at the same time, she just deserves more. But we'll get to more of that later. But San, what did you think about this?
You know, with Sunny, I think that she is absolutely amazing. Her gear is always fire.
Yes.
She's so athletic. She has a presence that she brings onto the screen every time I see her. And yes, she was killing it on Dark at one point. Um, and a lot of times we started kind of stopped seeing her on Dark too, and Dark Elevation. We stopped seeing, like, we would see her on TV. I remember that was like she wasn't on TV for like over 500 days. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, even with doing Pride Month, that could have
Mm-hmm.
been a month that you really could have like really utilized her, and you didn't.
Right.
And it's awful at the fact that she's we don't see people like her too often on TV at that.
Right.
So kind of taking that away, especially when you may have people who either look up to Sunny or maybe in similarities of Sunny, and they don't see her on TV or see anyone like her on TV. It kind of makes you feel like, well, do you even care about
Right.
those who look like us? Anything like that. And this is sad at the fact that, she hasn't been on TV. But with what took place within that match, I mean, and everything else, I think we're going to start seeing Sunny on TV a lot more in a very interesting way.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. But we'll get into that a little bit more. But let's just go to the comments a little bit. Whitney from Facebook saying facts.
Mhm.
And oh, I skipped one. Sunny deserves better. She is such a gifted wrestler. I
Mhm.
hope so. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Whitney, for watching and coming on. So yeah, that was interesting.
Mhm.
Um, moving on. We have another tag team. Actually, a lot of tag team action going on between the Gun Club and Beardhausen. Of course, that's the team of Danhausen and Eric Redbeard. Of course, for those who are unfamiliar with that name, that's Eric Rowan, who used to be of the Wyatt family. Of course, rest in peace to Brody Lee because they were a team together. So they got together for this tag team match that I believe was orchestrated by Billy Gunn, because he, as of lately, hasn't been really impressed with his sons in their action, with their in-ring competitorship. So it was just, so basically this is him sort of, I guess, testing them. This match was really good in the sense that you got to see, how agile Eric Redbeard is. He even did a move that Brody Lee actually did, where he flipped over on top of one of the Gun brothers, from over the top rope with his back, and I thought that was interesting. And on commentary they did allude to the fact that that was a tribute to Brody. And you saw a lot of his agility and power in this ring. And then, of course, you have Danhausen being goofy, like, and in action, like he usually is, trying to curse them. But that didn't work because they always smack it away before he gets a chance to do it. But you saw a lot more of his, abilities as well, and that was really good. But they wound up losing the match due to the fact that Billy Gunn, when Eric Redbeard was trying to do a move, Billy Gunn pulled the top rope down and then flipped him over, which was leaving Danhausen without a partner. So he hit the Famouser on Danhausen to win, and so the Gun Club wound up winning the match. But in the midst of this, Billy Gunn was talking about how unimpressed he was with them and how they shouldn't be feeling emotional about that win at all, simply because of the fact that it just wasn't great. And so he has another assignment for them in a match next week, either next Wednesday or next Friday, for another match for them. So yeah. And then he also addressed the fact that he wanted he wanted to manage the Acclaim more than he wants to manage the Gun Club. And I'm just like, what type of stuff is that to say to your children? What the heck? That was crazy.
What you doing, Mr.
Like,
Gunn?
right. Like, what type of father are you? You're not this is a toxic father on television right now.
Girl, this is
So Gun Club came out with the win, but Sam, how did you feel about this?
I thought the match was honestly interesting because we haven't seen Eric Redbeard in a very, very long time. We haven't. Yes, he's definitely being a father. He really is. He wants the best out of his sons. He wants them to do great. He wants them to do as great as he did when he was just out there shaking his behind or whatever and showing it and stuff like that. And so I just feel like it was real interesting
Mm-hmm.
for Eric Redbeard and Danhausen to be in a tag together, and actually give them a name. Very unorthodox, it really is. But I feel like for him to say that he wants to manage the Acclaim more than his sons,
That was
what are you
rude.
doing? Why? Like that's just like my parents telling me that I wish you was this. I wish you act like this person's child. Hello.
I'm not that child. I'm me.
I don't want to be that loser.
Right.
Why? Hello. What is? Excuse me. Like it's like no. I feel like um eventually they gonna jump their daddy. I'm sorry.
They are.
They gonna jump their dad. I'm sorry. They're gonna jump their dad and they're gonna change their name. They're not gonna go by the Gun Club anymore. They're gonna just go by different names so that they can detach themselves away from their father. And that's exactly what's gonna happen. Then Billy Gunn, we ain't gonna see him no more.
It's so hard because it's just like, how do you not attach yourself to your daddy and you look just like him?
Well, listen, they're gonna find
They
a way.
look just like their father. I don't know. I've never seen their mother, but they look exactly like their dad. Spitting image.
Oh, listen, split image. Like there is nothing that can say he cannot deny those boys.
Right.
He
He
cannot.
can't
Even if he may
ever.
try to, he could never.
Right.
So
But yeah, but then also in the midst of that, you have Stokely trying to offer his services to them, and of course they keep turning him away, but he's just not. But Stokely is kind of just looking at him like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you either
Stokely
way."
trying to build some
A
people.
brand.
he's trying to build like uh his own thing. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy.
And I appreciate that. You got to get your hustle on.
Of course, but he's definitely hustling, child. I thought he's trying to build a meal section for the baddies or something.
What do you call a male baddie?
Oh, who's your daddy?
Oh, yes. A hoochie daddy. You got the baddies and the hoochie daddies. That works for some reason. Oh my god, that really works. That really works. The baddies and the hoochie daddies. Come on now. Yes, I love it. So after that, we in the comments we have, people agreeing.
Mm.
Daddy ass, yep. And Maddie, the queen of reality. Um LMFAO. Okay. So moving on, we did have a segment from the AEW Tag Team Champions, Swerve in Our Glory, from Swerve and Keith Lee. They were addressing being challenged by the private party because of course they want to challenge for the tag titles, and they actually like the fact that they wanted to be challenged. Wait, what am I saying? Swerve and Our Glory love the fact that the private party challenged them because no other ranked team was trying to challenge them or whatever. So they are actually here for it. So basically, they were like, "Look, name the time and the place. We can fight. We can do it." So that's pretty much it. That's really all that they did, and really talked about it. And it's also clear that Swerve is not crying. He's doing okay. He has a title, guys.
I don't know what they
So
thought. I have no idea what they thought. Like why would he be crying over? You know, like why? I mean, he was the first one to get picked up somewhere else.
right.
He has a title now. Worked his way up. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's doing pretty well in AEW. No lie. I think he is. Yeah, he did nice in WWE, but I think he's doing pretty swell over at AEW. Like you know, not everybody's doing bad in AEW. There are some people who are not doing the best, and it's only because I feel like I don't really know how AEW runs their creative side of things, but um, some of the WWE wrestlers that are ex-WWE wrestlers that are over there, they may not be getting the right storylines that can just make people actually care that they're there. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it's just some people are just like, I don't think this place is the right place for you. Maybe you'll be great somewhere else. So,
Yeah, maybe so. And honestly, I think all of this is just coming from the fact that since Triple H is taking control of creative, and since, the line of succession, now ends with Stephanie
Nick Khan and
and
everything.
Nick Khan, thank you. And with Nick Khan, it's just like they feel like since all of the changes in WWE has happened, they
Mhm.
feel like all the people who were in WWE but then went to AEW is fiending to come back. And honestly, you don't know how these people's contracts are. And
Well,
honestly, they could be happy where they are or they could not be, but who knows? But that's their prerogative. Let them keep that to themselves.
I mean, we know about Adam Cole's and Malachi Black's contract years, how many years they have on theirs because Tony Khan spilled the beans on that immediately.
Yeah. And didn't have to spill the beans on that,
No,
but that's
he
another
didn't, but
discussion.
he also wasn't in his right mind either. But here we are.
Yeah. Let's not discuss that because there's a lot of things I could say, but I won't. But in the midst of that, afterward we heard from the FTW champion, Hook. Yes, Hook came out. And Tony Schiavone asked him if basically he was seeking to challenge anyone for that title. And Hook, a man of a few words, said, "Yup," and that was it. So in the midst of that, some guy who I didn't know until last night came out and challenged him for the FTW title, and it was the reality Zach Clayton. Are you familiar with him, fan?
Yes and no. Like I've seen him before, but I can't necessarily say I remember when exactly I saw him. But I just think that I mean, this could be somebody new for Hook to have as a challenger because I mean he needs challengers. I mean, of course he's racking up wins and everything, but he needs a challenger. He needs to prove why he is the champion now and what can he do as this champion. I mean, it's just kind of something just for him to kind of hold as very prestige to his dad himself, especially with the disband of Team Taz now. Hook is kind of like pretty much just kind of out there on his own now. I mean, he's kind of there's no more Hook hounds anymore, maybe. I know, but I don't know. I mean, this is a fresh start for Hook, a way to kind of continue to like build his dominance as a single star, holding this title, defending it against various of different competitors that come in and want to challenge him. So I mean, I think it's a great look for him. I'm excited to see what Hook has in store, what his plans are, what he plans on doing, and I mean, I don't know. I would love for Taz to be in his corner and stuff like that. Like, but Taz doesn't want to do that. He kind of wants to stay on the outskirt of things. So,
Mm-hmm. And I get that, wanting your son to stand on his own 2 feet. I get that. But the thing about Zach Clayton is that he came out there talking a whole lot of cash ish. He was talking about how he wants to represent, New Jersey and, give him a New Jersey beating because of course, Hook is from New York.
mm-hmm,
And I feel like only New York and New Jersey people will understand what that means.
mm-hmm.
I'm from Alabama. I don't know. So I can't really speak to it all the way. But there was just a lot of bravado and a lot of toughness, going back and forth between the two, but mostly from Zach.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically challenged him to a match. And I'm just like, and he said, I would fight you now, but my custom wrestling boots aren't ready. But just know that next Friday I'm gonna fight you and all this other stuff. And I was just like,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Mm-hmm. So Hook has a
Whatever.
challenger.
Like
Do you
whatever.
think this is like AEW's way of just sort of, trying to, appeal to a younger crowd in terms of reality television? Because I feel weird though, because I still don't know who he is. Was he from Jersey Shore?
Um. No, he wasn't. I've never actually seen him be in Jersey Shore before. So I think that he might be. No, he wasn't. I don't think he was in reality TV. If he was, I don't know. I can't necessarily remember. I'm gonna have to probably look into that to be exact. Um, Probably gonna have to look into that because I personally
Mhm.
have absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna Google him because
yeah, because I don't necessarily know. I cannot answer that to be honest. I really wish I could, but I can't.
see,
Um,
I've Googled him and I got like multiple Zach Claytons, and now I'm sad. I hate that. Um, I hate that so much. But moving on to the main event, we had a match between the Trustbusters, Ari Davari, who is somebody that's been in wrestling for a long time. Like I remember him,
mhm,
and I believe his brother maybe were in wrestling. Like they were in WWE for a long time, but literally like he been wrestling forever. Versus Orange Cassidy of the Best Friends, and of course the Best Friends have been sort of talking all this stuff about how they want to go forward, and challenge for the new trios titles that are going on. But Orange Cassidy and Ari Davari are fought in this match, and
mhm.
this match was absolutely stellar. I loved this match. Like it was so good. It was like you were able to
Oh,
see
okay.
what what
I
is
had
it?
to go back and see what Zach Clayton looked like.
Yes.
You know Jenny from Wow from Jersey Shore. This is her boyfriend.
Oh. Okay, so he is from Jersey Shore.
Well, not really. He's more like
Kind of.
Jersey Shore vacation, family vacation. But this
Okay.
is her boyfriend, and
Oh.
she be in AEW a lot of times. So yeah, that's. I had
Okay.
to go back and look at him. But yeah, he's. hmm yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
he's just Jenny's boyfriend. So I had to go back and remember and actually remember what he looked like. But yeah, that's the boyfriend. But proceed.
okay. Well, welcome to him. Welcome to our universe. But yeah, like I was saying, this match between Orange Cassidy and Ari Daivari was absolutely stellar. You got to see a lot of what Ari Daivari was able to offer in terms of his athleticism and his know-how as a wrestler. Like he was popping off in this match, but then again, so was Orange Cassidy. You know how sometimes we kind of know him to be kind of nonchalant or whatever. No, like this match brought out the very chalant part of his wrestling arsenal. It was really good. Like I love this match so much. Like every time he tried to put his hands in his pocket, he always had to take his hands out of his pocket and full on fight. They were thrusting at each other, doing all kinds of tope suicidas on each other, hold for hold. It was just a really good match. Like please go back and watch it if you haven't had a chance. I don't know how they do that, but how AEW, does that. But please, if you haven't watched it, please do. Like it is so good. But basically, and it's like even with Orange Cassidy hitting a number of his finishers, Arya Daivari would always kick out. And even with a number of Ari's finishers, Orange Cassidy would always kick out. It was one of those moments where you really just didn't know who was going to win this match. But ultimately, Orange Cassidy wound up winning with his orange punch. So as they were celebrating with this, it felt like, I mean, as they were celebrating their win, they got attacked by a certain Miss Sonny Kiss who got beat by Parker earlier in the show. And it was so interesting. I was just like, oh, okay, Sonny, so we're going bad. We're going bad now, Sonny. Okay, girl, I see you. And she was out there in all of her beautiful melanated glory, just basking in the glow of going bad. And I'm just like, okay, girl, I see you. And that's really how Rampage ended. And it was such an interesting ending. But San, how did you feel about Sonny's heel turn and how did you feel about this match as a whole?
Man, I I like I said earlier, I said that we're going to be probably starting to see a lot more of Sonny Kiss on our screens now. I feel like this is a good look for Sonny. Um, it's quite interesting how she would want to align herself with them, but I can understand because I mean Parker is it's like their Brock Lesnar over there, if we want to say that.
Yeah.
Honest. I mean, he already looks like him anyway. They kind of changed his whole aesthetic over in WWE and made him shave his head and look like a minister. But here he's actually being able to have the chance to look like himself, dress like himself, and literally like kind of be himself. To be honest, in the midst of everything. So I mean, like Sunny, Sunny. I'm I am interested in seeing how this concrete rose, you know, turns out. I will say that. Um, man, I just think this is a way to have Sunny back on TV, saying just being very heelish, but I'm pretty sure people are gonna want some answers like Sunny, like why? Like what made you want to turn? What happened? You know?
Right.
Girl, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm happy that we're going to be seeing a little bit more Sunny, but it's gonna be real interesting. I tell you that much. It really is.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I'm excited. I'm so excited for her for this. Like a heel Sunny Kiss, let's go. And
Like
just more of her on my TV is something that I just want to. I wonder if they'll still let her do her intros though.
I will hope so. Like I will hope that she is able to still do her interest because I mean her interest is iconic. Okay,
It is.
It's
I feel like they should fork over the money and let her do her interest to America Has a Problem
literally.
by Beyonce. If you listen to the Renaissance album, you know.
You know, trust me.
Jesus. I
Amen,
can just see it. It's perfect.
amen, amen. If you don't know, now you know. Okay,
Yes.
so
But that's basically how Rampage ended. So this was a pretty solid Friday night, a pretty chaotic Friday night for some people. But it was still a really great, solid Friday night in wrestling. So of course, always know you can catch SmackDown on Fox unless they announce otherwise, which they didn't do, but did do at the same time on 8 7 Central on Fox, and catch AEW Rampage on at 10 9 Central on TNT. And of course, we'll be here not on Saturday mornings, but on Friday nights talking about it on Women's Wrestling Talk on our Twitch channel.
mhm.
Santana, thank you for joining me on a Saturday morning. I know you're usually busy with other stuff or, maybe sleeping, depending on what's going on. But thank you for joining me, our editor in chief, for this, like you always do. So tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and what you've got going on.
Yeah, of course. You guys can always Google me, Driune Santana. I say that every time. That's where you're gonna always find me on Google. I treat Google like it's a social media platform, and it is because you gotta Google me to find me. We are in the process for the writers side, in the process of working on Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
So I'm definitely gonna be and my other side of me come September 15th. It's gonna be lots and lots of Jennifer Lopez. If you know what
Ooh.
if you know, you know. I'll tell you that much. Jennifer Lopez is a running joke here for me personally. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, September 15th, you'll find out. I think September 15th is actually on a Thursday. I think. I want to say. It is on a Thursday. So I start out Hispanic Heritage Month by getting on Nikki's nerves with Jennifer Lopez. So,
I have a question.
uh-huh.
Why does Hispanic Heritage Month start in the middle as opposed to starting at the beginning like all the other Heritage Months?
Because they want to be special. Honestly,
Okay.
it's never really much of a big backstory as to why they chose to start from September 15th to October 15th. I just think that it's more so maybe with more so of within the culture because it's just that they have like some days that they celebrate is like weird like so they be having off days like of course we're not all not awful we're not all awful chat but it's interesting enough, I will say that. But same thing with like how everybody celebrates Christmas on Christmas Day, while some of us in the Hispanic house is opening up presents on December 24th. So
Okay.
the day before, and everybody else is, we didn't already open up our presents, we didn't already ate, we've already like we're probably already, probably 5 bottles of Coronas, outside having a good time,
That
where
sounds
everybody else is
fun.
asleep, waiting on Santa Claus to come in and drop your presents off, and now you up at 5 in the morning while we about to go to bed, maybe. Um, oh yeah, no sleep.
No sleep. Another present. Another
Like
present. Another beer. Another beer.
food, no sleep. Dance on the dance floor, bachata, merengue,
That
salsa,
sounds lit though.
everything. The list goes on and on and on and on. I tell you that much.
That sounds lit. I
Girl,
need to go to your house
oh,
for
girl,
Christmas.
you're gonna be hungry.
Oh Lord.
You're gonna eat. You're gonna be full, and then by 1 o'clock in the morning, it's time to dance.
Yes. Oh my God, that sounds fun. Okay, but yeah, that sounds amazing. Not to take away from what you've got going on, but that sounds great. Um,
It's gonna be fun.
Hispanic Heritage Month. I love it. I love it. I'm so
Month.
happy. I'm so
It's gonna be
happy.
a fun one. I tell you that much. I'm excited for it. I get to release my Latina side a little bit for y'all. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Try not to go too hard. Just know that Bad Bunny will be played in this house starting today. And it's only because I'm about to start cleaning. So if you know, you know.
Okay. Well, you can find me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy. And you can follow my show, The Hardy Wrestling Podcast, anywhere you get podcasts. I've released a new episode with WWT Live host Gerard Bonner yesterday. I released that last night. So if you want to go listen to that, please do. We had an amazing conversation, and I might have him back on the show because it could have gone for 2 hours. But yeah, it was still great. And also next week, I'll be working Black Girl Magic along with Katrina, representing Women's Wrestling Talk. And that's going to be cool. And that's going to be in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm going to be there. And I'm so excited. And then I'm also going to be there for Jobber Slam 2 for Battle Club Pro. I'm so pumped to be back in New York. It's a miracle because it was a miracle for me to go to New York once, but to be able to go twice, it's like, hallelujah, let's go. So I'm so excited. So, yeah, so that's what I've got going on. But thank you guys for watching this after show for SmackDown and Rampage on Women's Wrestling Talk. We'll be back on Friday night. We'll be back on Friday. Well, actually, I won't be here on Friday night because I'll be working the show next week. But we will be back on Friday night normally. But thank you guys for joining us. Please check out Women's Wrestling Talk on www.talkpod.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at www.talkpod. Buy our merchandise. Check out everything we've got going on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We finally have the I Stand with the Boss shirt. It is now available. So you guys can now order that shirt now. If you stand with the boss, Sasha Banks, that shirt is now available for purchase. You go to foryourwear.com and you can purchase our not just professional wrestling. Well, this is professional wrestling, not just professional wrestling shirt. You can purchase the We Ride for Naomi shirt there, as well as I Stand with the Boss. Just buy all 3 shirts, okay?
Yeah.
Make it a bundle deal for you. Buy all 3 shirts, okay?
Yes, definitely. And also just check out everything that we've got going on. Follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Just follow us everywhere you can. So in the meantime, between time, this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And until next time, have a good Saturday, guys, because it's still early. Bye, y'all.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.